I probably missed that segment or that particular one. You know, he's hard to find out here, by the way. I mean,
He's on
I don't
HBO.
know if he's on any regular station
No, he's
No,
on
back in New
no.
York.
HBO.
He's
Only on
not. Yeah,
HBO. Only on
he
HBO.
might be in Las Vegas. He might be in Seattle.
No, no,
He's
no,
on
But
no.
HBO. On
He
HBO
he's
only.
yeah,
yeah,
Friday night
HBO. Yeah,
at 10 o'clock.
and I'm lucky. I'm lucky when I troll. I'm lucky to find him. You know. I guess I could use the TV guide and so forth, but I don't.
Well, I
I
don't
don't
know.
tend to do that.
You may not have HBO.
Oh no, I have it. Oh, I have it. Oh yeah, I have it.
Okay. All right, that's good. I was listening to a priest being interviewed, and they asked him, "What do you think the effects of letting priests getting married?" And he said, "To this, none, nothing at all, because most of these girls were child molesters and homosexuals, and if they were married, they would have been married either way." He said these were
Yeah,
sick individuals. So
Yeah, but when you think about uh, it was Paul I mean, and Paul had a family. Okay, he said that you really can have a family and be a priest at the same time because you can't split your time like that. You know, so you're going
yeah.
back to the first century. Okay, the first, let's say, 60 years AD. All right, that's a long time to go. I mean, I'm surprised that it's like, the bishops or the cardinals get together and they say, well, we had to do it, you know, but it's a very special person, to
Right.
be able to do that for your whole life.
It is, and I can remember. I can remember. I went to Uppsala College in East Orange. It doesn't exist anymore. Um, have you heard of that? Called Uppsala. It's
Oh,
a small
yeah,
Swedish
yeah.
Lutheran college.
UP.
It was a sister
USALA,
college
yeah,
here
right,
in
right.
East Orange, and Uppsala, of course, is in Sweden. And I had a strange beginning in my education because I wasn't much of a student. My issue is I wanted to be a musician. I am a musician, and I still am, by the way. I'm doing a lot of playing with groups out here in Cincinnati. But my original love and my original talent as I developed it was in music, both playing clarinet and saxophone. Still play. I wanted to go to music school, and my father, God bless him, immigrant man, said, "Listen, I don't want you to go to music school right now. I want you to get a college degree." I said, "Dad, I'm not going to get in. I mean, I was lucky to get out of high school.
Yeah.
I mean, I really wasn't. I think I had maybe what Dan had. I think I had a learning disability, a slight learning disability. I didn't really learn to read until I was probably in college. I mean,
See,
honest to God, you won't believe this.
and
But I
imagine
was not a
that,
reader at all. I was very slow.
and you got a
And
PhD.
And what?
And you got a PhD.
Yeah. Well, that's a long thing. But my point was, I went to this Lutheran college. I got in because I passed the Miller's analogy test or some kind of test, and it was a small college, and I went there, and it was a minister. We had to take religion courses, right? And you can imagine, here I am, a Catholic who didn't know how to read very well, actually, and I'm in this class, and we have a class of 30 students, and in this religion class, and this minister was the teacher, and he said, "Are there any Catholics in this class?" And of course, stupid me, I raised my hand. Me and another kid raised our hand, and he said, "Tell me something. Who is the founder of your religion?" And I looked at the other student, and I mean, again, I wasn't very sophisticated. And I said, "Gee, I don't know." I was so embarrassed. I must have turned red. The other student didn't. There's 28 other students there who were Protestant. and I said to myself, you know what? I'm never going to let myself. This is where I woke up. I'm never going to let myself be embarrassed and not be able to answer the question. He said, don't you even know that the person who was the head of the Jesuits, they were the founder of your Catholic Church? Founder. If I was smart enough, I would say, who's the founder? Jesus Christ was the founder of our church.
Actually,
who's the founder of your faith?
He wasn't.
But I wasn't. You know what I mean? I mean, I was so embarrassed, humiliated, and I said, never again.
Yeah.
Never going to happen. And that's when I really started to study. And I said, I'm never going to let that happen to me again. It hasn't.
That
as far as I can remember.
Reminds me of a story that I forgot who. I think it was my son-in-law told me this story. And Evangelical was driving in a car with his mother, his wife, and his kids. And it was in Ohio. And they were passing, the big Jesus with his hands out, welcoming you.
Yeah.
So his mother happened to say, well, Jesus was Catholic. And the guy said, nah, you're wrong.
Yeah.
Jesus was Jewish.
Oh, boy.
She said, what do you mean he's Jewish? She said, he was born Jewish, he became a rabbi, and he was crucified. He was never a Catholic. He said it was the disciples that came after who actually broke away and formed the religion, and then there was
Yeah, but also, Dr. Mark, they were all Jewish too.
Right. You're right. But they didn't, you had a lot of, you see, the difference was that I think it was Paul who said, he was bringing in Romans and Greeks, non-Jews, non-Hebrews, into the religion, because he had a thing with Peter, because Peter said, no, in order to follow us, you have to have been Jewish.
Well, you had to be. Paul disagreed with Peter because he didn't care whether you were circumcised or were paying attention to the what do you call it, the food, all the laws.
Right.
His main concern was, can you believe? If you believe, in Jesus, that that was the Son of God and all this kind of thing, you could be a Christian.
Plus,
so Peter said, you gotta be Jewish in order to be part of the club.
Right.
You have to be circumcised. You had to observe the Sabbath. You had to observe the food. What do you call it? The
kashrah laws.
Yeah.
The laws of kashrah.
Yeah. So that's where that split started. I think between Paul and Paul, Peter and Paul.
And they also, like if you were a follower of Paul, you weren't allowed to eat at the same table with followers of Peter. Okay.
Exactly. Hey guys, you asked about my faith. Can I ask about yours? I mean, where do you guys stand in terms of your own faith or your own thinking about theology?
I'll tell you what. Growing up in Brooklyn, my father belonged to an Orthodox synagogue, and Saturdays I used to go. Now my father had to work on Saturday, so because he was very influential. He was president of the synagogue and vice president, and he helped break the ground to, build the actual structure of the shul. So I used to go and represent the family, and then when I got home, I'd take off my suit and go play ball with my friends.
Right.
But
you were bar mitzvah, I assume.
Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah.
I was bar mitzvahed.
I think, you know what, just if I can interject here just for a second, I think that it's the most wonderful. I've been to a lot of bar mitzvahs because I was in a Jewish neighborhood in New Hyde Park.
Uh-huh.
I've been to a lot of bar mitzvahs and brises and all that kind of thing. I think the bar mitzvah and the bat mitzvah are the most wonderful rituals that there is for a young person.
Yeah.
A wonderful ritual because, first place, you learn another language, but I mean, what you have to go through to really commit and then speak in front of an audience and recite, the Hebrew, I think it's just a wonderful, wonderful rich. What do you call it? Passing, to a new
Well, that's
world.
exactly what it is. It's you're coming of age.
Coming of age, right?
You're not a kid.
I've always respected that. I was always impressed with that. I mean, I've been through confirmations and communions, but they were just rote stuff. You learn the catechism and that kind of thing, and it was just a ritual thing. But the bar mitzvah, to me, was such a wonderful coming of age, as you say.
Well,
I always respected that.
I was always like an honor student in Hebrew school, but what I really loved was Sunday school. I loved learning the history. That's what Sunday was devoted to. Sunday was learning the history of the Jewish people, and I always loved that. I love history in general.
You were a history teacher, were you not?
No,
Were you a
English.
history teacher?
English. But
English. Oh, okay.
I've been watching a lot of C-SPAN, and on C-SPAN, they, especially now because there's no Congress in session, so they've been repeating a lot of their lectures. They have a history syllabus or program, whatever, from various universities across the country. And they talk about the Reconstruction era, the Civil War, slavery, Andrew Jackson.
Yeah.
And I always, when I was in college, after I realized I wasn't going to be a doctor, I said, well, I literally sat down and I said, well, what am I going to major in? And the two things I came down with were English or history. Problem with history was that there were too many history teachers who were teaching other subjects because there just weren't any openings. And there were still openings for English teachers. So I became an English major. But what I loved to do in English, other than Shakespeare, what I loved to do with the kids was music and poetry. Okay.
Music and poetry.
I would take folk music and anti-Vietnam War music, and we'd learn it as poetry and talk about it and discuss it.
Yeah. That's wonderful. I think that's a wonderful path. You're not a musician yourself, though, are you?
No. My mother wanted to give me piano lessons when I was a kid. And you're probably going to laugh. And I said, nah. I said, that's for sissies, Ma. But I got news for you. I kicked myself.
You poor soul. You should have done that.
You're right.
Oh, gosh.
As I got older, I think the most relaxing thing is when somebody can come into a room and there's a piano and they start playing from rote or by memory, song, different music. And I was really sorry that I never took her up on that.
It's never too late, Mark.
Mark, that you and I share that same issue because I think I know that I would have been a hell of a better jazz musician because that's what I identify with. And I'm playing a lot of Dixieland and jazz here, as well as classical music, but. I wish that my uncle who taught me, actually my mother's father, my mother's brother, taught me to play the saxophone and clarinet. But I wish that he had first suggested that I learn the keyboard. Why? because the chord structures are the basis of music.